Oh my god, guys, the video is finally here. Chopper, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, how would you start the video, man? It took you long enough.
Yeah, no, he's kind of right. 1, 2, 1. Nah, but on a real note, thank you guys so much for waiting. I know it's been a long time coming. I know I've left the people on YouTube dry for like 2 weeks maybe. And I just want to say thank you because I've been going through a lot. I went to a camp for one. That was a good part. And then my father also passed. So yeah, I just want to tell you guys that because I just want to let you know I wasn't trying to be neglectful. I just want to let you guys know what was happening. And not to segue into this topic, but if you guys like the video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. Just if you guys like the video, honestly. Anyway, let's get into the video. It's going to be split up into different sections for each arc, except the last arc, the Alabasta arc, is going to be split into 2 sections. 1 for the beginning, the entrance into Alabasta, and then 2 for the final battle of Alabasta. Alright, the Reverse Mountain arc. I thought this was a fun arc. I thought it was a very fun way to transition from the last saga, the East Blue Saga, which I won't be doing a review on because it's in the past, and this saga, the Alabasta Saga. I thought it was cool how it was literally a reverse mountain, and the current was so strong that it literally launched the Straw Hats over the mountain. And that's how they got into the Grand Line. I also loved Laboon. I love Laboon's story about how he was abandoned. Well, I don't love it because it was sad, but how he was abandoned by a group of pirates. The way that the Straw Hats actually left was they convinced Laboon, or Luffy did, that he would come back. He would be the one pirate that would come back and see Laboon again. Also in this arc, we're introduced to a character named Miss Wednesday, who will become very, very important later in the story when, you know, her actual name is revealed. Anyway, on to the next arc. This next arc, Whiskey Peak, it's where we see our first instance of deception, which deception is a huge theme throughout this entire arc. The Straw Hats sail into Whiskey Peak Island with Miss Wednesday and her male counterpart, who is irrelevant, but there's a photo right there. And they're greeted by a warm welcome. Everyone on the island's so happy. They're like, oh my god, pirates! They give them food, they give them drink, they give them shelter. It's great. However, the Straw Hats are deceived because everyone on the island is part of an organization of bounty hunters called the Baroque Works. The Baroque Works is made up of, like I said, bounty hunters, and they're ranked from 0 to whatever number. And the higher your number, the more powerful you are. Mr. Zero is actually the boss of all of Baroque Works, and he's the main big bad of this arc. Every male in Baroque Works has a female counterpart, and they are named after days. Also among these bounty hunters is Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine. Mr. 5 becomes very important, especially in the next arc, because his power from the Bomb Fruit. The Bomb Fruit allows you to make any part of your body into a bomb or an explosive. Now in this arc, he gets beaten pretty quickly by Zoro and Luffy. It's kind of funny. But in the next arc, he becomes very important. Another character we're introduced to in this arc is Igaram and Vivi, who actually happens to be Miss Wednesday. Vivi is the princess of the Alabasta Kingdom, and her whole reason for being in Baroque Works was to reveal the deception of Mr. Zero, the man on top, the man who is trying to overthrow the Alabasta Kingdom. And the other person we learned about, who's also has the same goal, is Igaram, who's my favorite because he plays the saxophone. Now, some of you might be wondering why I played that song specifically, or those of you who are further along in One Piece. And that is because that is Nika Robin's tune, and she's the first villain that we are introduced to. She's also the first major, like 1,000 episode major character that we are introduced to. Nika Robin is actually, sadly, introduced to as a villain, and she's introduced as a female counterpart to Mr. Zero, the boss. She's named Miss All Sunday. The first thing she does is kill Igaram. Yeah, I know, I'm pretty sad about it too. However, the Straw Hats take Vivi along onto their ship, along with her pet duck, Karu, who is His name isn't that important, but he's one of my favorite characters. In the hopes of saving Alabasta from Mr. Zero, the big bad. This next arc is Little Garden arc, and this was really cool to see the first time because as a kid, I loved dinosaurs, and they're all over Little Garden. Little Garden's an island that the climate's so different that dinosaurs hadn't died out yet. Prehistoric animals hadn't died out yet because they could still live on that island. On this island are two giants, Broggy and Dory. The two giants have been fighting for 100 years on this island. Their fight actually is messed with because of our big theme, deception. On this island, along with the giants, are 4 members of Baroqueworks: Mr. 3, Miss Golden Week, Mr. 5, and Miss Valentine. Now, we know Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine from the last arc, but Mr. 3 is really the important one in this arc. Mr. 3 has the wax fruit, and what it does is he can secrete wax from his body, and that wax becomes as hard as steel, and it's extremely hard to break. Not even Zoro's swords could break it. How deception re-enters in this arc: Mr. 5 blows up the alcohol. I don't know what body parts he puts in there. Let's just not speculate. While Dory's drinking it, and it explodes inside of him. This makes Dory extremely upset, and Dory thinks that the Straw Hats deceived him. However, immediately after, Dory has to find Broggy. Because Dory's weakened, Broggy wins, and you see a moment where Broggy cries because he didn't want to win. It was a fun little fight between, well, they weren't really friends, but it was a fun little fight between them. And he thought it was just going to go forever because they were such evenly matched, and he won. And he knew that Dory was already weakened. He could tell. Immediately after this, Mr. 3 comes out. He seals everyone being Dory, Broggy, Vivi, Nami, and Zoro, in wax. They're saved, surprisingly, by Usopp. Usopp is a character who I never thought would be cool. However, what he does is he has a brilliant idea that wax melts. And he gets a rope, douses it in oil, and then has Luffy light it up. And it melts all of Mr. 3's wax. And that's how they win. Now, I like this arc because I like the two giants. I like how they introduced them. I also like how they used Mr. 5's power, even though I don't know where he got it from. And I also like the introduction to Mr. 3 because he does come back later on, and he's kind of a gag character, but he's kind of funny. Alright, I may go on a little bit too long for this one, because this is where my boy, Tony Chopper, comes in. Alright, this is the Drum Island arc. Now, while on the Little Garden Island, Nami gets bitten by a mosquito, and she becomes extremely sick. High fever, can't leave the bed. The Straw Hats are in a desperate need to find a doctor. And so they're in the middle of the island, and I rewatched the episode, they drift to Drum Island. Along the way, they run into this pirate that I thought was completely irrelevant, named Wapol. He has the power of the Munch root, which is where whatever he can just eat anything. It's pretty self-explanatory. He eats anything. But another facet of his power is whatever he eats, he can turn into like a weapon. So if he eats a cannon, he can use a cannon as a weapon. But they get to this island called Drum Island, and they have a very harsh greeting in contrast to Whiskey Peak. They get there and they have guns pointed at them. Everyone's angry because they're pirates, and the people of the island do not like pirates. However, when the Straw Hats say, "Hey man, we're just trying to find a doctor," the leader of the island, Dalton, welcomes them onto the island. Now, when he welcomes them onto the island, Dalton tells him that there's one doctor on the island named Kureha, but she's a witch doctor, right? No one really trusts her, but she's at the top, the tallest mountain on the island. Luffy doesn't see a problem with that, so Luffy and Sanji both make their way to the top of the mountain. And this is where a really cool scene comes in, where Sanji's knocked out, Nami's sick, and it's just Luffy. And he's climbing the mountain, you can see the blood coming off his hands, and he gets to the top, but when he gets to the top, he just passes out. He's gone, because it was so exhausting. I thought that was really cool. And right after this, we learned that Wapol, the irrelevant pirate, comes back. You know why he comes back? Because he was actually the king of Drum Island. Mind blown, I know. He comes back, and that's where we learn about Dalton's connection to him. And Dalton was a commander under Wapol when Wapol was king. Now, Dalton has his grief inside of him because he knew what Walpole was doing was horrible. Walpole was just a bad king, let's say that. But we'll get into Dalton's story when we get into Chopper's story, because Chopper is the best character in the entire saga, bro. Nah, but Chopper. He heals the Straw Hats when they reach the top of the island, along with Kureha. And this is where we learn the backstory from Kureha. Chopper ate the Hito Hitonomi, or the human fruit, which allowed him to get transformations, primarily into a humanoid reindeer, a human, and just a regular reindeer. But he also can unlock other transformations through these little pills that he creates. But it's very sad because he's outcast, because he doesn't fit in with the reindeers because he looks like a human. He doesn't fit in with the humans because he looks like a Yeti, and so he's just on his own. And while he's lying in the snow, depressed, alone, traumatized, he runs into this doctor named Hiruluk. Hiruluk is one of my favorite characters because Chopper thinks he's gonna hurt him because everyone's hurt Chopper. No one's been nice to Chopper. So Hiruluk just strips naked and he goes, "I would never shoot you." It's a really cool scene. You gotta trust me on it. It was really cool. And then Hiruluk takes in Chopper as his own and heals Chopper of his wounds and basically treats him like a son. And we learned that Hiruluk's goal is to create sakura petals in the middle of the snowy island. Pretty strange, right? And everyone thinks he's a crackhead doctor. No one believes him. Everyone thinks that he's out of his gourd, except for Chopper. Chopper is just listening. He's in awe. I really like the relationship. As someone who had a strange relationship with their father, I really enjoy this relationship. An important part of Hiruluk's character is he really related to pirates because pirates are free. They could do whatever they wanted, and that's what he wanted to do as a doctor. At one point, we learned that Hiruluk is gonna die. He's very sick. And so he throws Chopper out so Chopper doesn't have to see him near the end. Chopper becomes extremely devastated, and while he's out, he hears Hiruluk talking to Miss Witch Doctor Kureha about how he's dying. So then Chopper, the kind soul that he is, gets a book from Hiruluk's collection and see that there's a skull and crossbones on it. Now Chopper, thinking that skull and crossbones is just for pirates, goes and gets a mushroom that he thinks will cure Hiruluk. He goes so far and he runs into reindeers, cliffs, that's pretty much it, but he gets beaten the shit out of him to get this one mushroom, and he gives it to Hiruluk. Hiruluk eats it, but Hiruluk knows that it was poisonous, and this is where we see the end of Hiruluk, and this made me cry when I watched it, because Hiruluk goes to Walpole and Walpole's kingdom, because like I said, Walpole used to be the king, and he goes to the mountain, goes to the castle, and he goes there because he thinks that all the doctors in the kingdom are sick. Turns out they aren't, so he's up there. He said, thank goodness. While he's up there, he says, a monster will be coming here soon. He's my son, don't hurt him. And that moment was amazing to me because Chopper had never experienced any kindness at all, and he had been outcast by both reindeer and human alike, and this doctor, took him in and treated him like a son, called him his son, and those were his final words before he sadly blew himself up. Now, back to Dalton, who was watching the whole thing as one of Walpole's commanders, saw Chopper run up the mountain, and he actually saved him. He stopped Chopper and he said, turn around. Turn around, man. You're gonna lose. Now back to the present, Chopper heals them, and Luffy wants Chopper to join the Straw Hats because they need a doctor, right? And then immediately after this, a fight ensues between Walpole, blah, 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 blah. But my only part in saying this is my favorite, photo of this entire fight, of this entire arc, is Luffy holding Hiruluk's flag, not knowing what it means, just that it was important to Chopper. And if we analyze Hiruluk's flag, it has the sakura petals and the skull and crossbones of the pirates, because Hiruluk admired pirates and wanted to create sakura petals. Oh yeah, my favorite scene though overall was probably Hiruluk at the top of the mountain before he dies. As Chopper leaves the island with the Straw Hats, Kureha finds something given to her by Hiruluk. It was the solution to make sakura petals bloom on the island. And this is the final scene of the entire arc, and it's actually stunning. For old animation, it's absolutely stunning. Now, onto the Alabasta arc. Deception, 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 deception. Have I said deception? That's the biggest theme in this entire arc saga. Okay, so this is the beginning of the Alabasta arc, and I think I should explain the main villain now. Crocodile, also known as Mr. Zero. Crocodile is a man who ate the sand fruit, who was given the power to control sand that comes out of his body, as well as absorb any moisture. Period. Whether it comes from a person, just a natural water source, you name it. And Crocodile is one of the 7 warlords. Warlord in One Piece is a pirate authorized by the government to kill other pirates. Sounds kind of weird, right? But Crocodile uses this to protect the people of Alabasta and make himself look good while the king does nothing about it. Actually, at one point in the series, the king says, "Don't worry about Crocodile. He's done really good things for us." And if you can't already tell, Crocodile doing this is to usurp the throne. That's his whole goal in doing this. And also he does this to turn people against the king. He does this and a few other things I'll mention later. Now, one of his underlings, Mr. 2, Bon Clay, is introduced. One of the coolest guys ever, but he has an extremely, extremely dangerous power called the clone fruit, where he can clone and turn into, not clone, he can turn into anyone that he touches, which he uses in an extremely devious way. However, before I get there, let me just say that the Straw Hats arrive in Nanohana, the port city of Alabasta. There they meet Smoker, the guy from the last arc, and also Ace, Luffy's brother. Now, Ace had a very small role in this. We just learned that he's trying to find a guy named Blackbeard who I haven't met yet. I know he's important, but I don't know. And the next place they go to is Yuba, the Oasis city. But it's not really an oasis because Crocodile, blaming it on the king, dried up the water in the oasis. And all we see there is an old man who we learn is connected to Vivi. He is there alone, trying to revive the oasis, digging a hole as deep as he can to find some water. It's actually a really touching scene because Luffy tries to help him at one point. Luffy tries to help a guy he's never met. The scene directly after this is one of my favorites because they're trying to decide whether they should go to the capital city and trying to stop whatever might happen, revolution-wise, whatever Crocodile is planning, or go directly to Crocodile. And Luffy and Vivi takes it on herself saying, I have to do this. And Luffy says, "Why, you don't have anything else to give up?" She said, I only have myself to give up. And Luffy says, "What about us?" And that's a great theme that relates to Vivi, is that she doesn't really rely on others. She mainly takes everything upon herself because she's a princess, and it's a great turn in her character to rely on others. The next place to go to is Crocodile, or Rain Base. It's where Crocodile is. It's where Crocodile reveals his plan. Now, remember Bon Clay, the guy I mentioned earlier? Yeah, very important dude. He turns himself into the king and orders his soldiers to attack Nanohana, that city that we saw earlier. He orders his soldiers to attack there, making the king look even worse. Another thing Crocodile does to make the king look bad is he frames the king of using this thing called dance powder. Now, what dance powder is it's a seed or a plant that allows for artificial rain. If you burn it, rain just pours down. And yes, pretty self-explanatory. He initially just has this, the people suspect that the king's using it because he makes it so the only place in the entire island that rains is the capital city where the king is. But then he has Bon Clay say, oh yeah, I used it. Oh yeah, I definitely used dance powder. Which, pretty devious. And the third part of his plan that we find out is actually he's trying to find this thing, which is an island destroyer, or basically a nuke, called Pluton. Alright, we're down to the final battle, in Alaburna. Alaburna is the capital city of Alabasta, where King Cobra Nefertari is, the king of Vivi. The king of Vivi, the father of Vivi. On one side of the Battle of Alabasta, we have the rebels. The rebels were led by Koza, the son of the old man from Yuba. Koza used to be really good friends with Vivi and really good friends with the king, but after seeing all the water dry up, all the people hurt by what Crocodile was doing, but he framed the king, he really wants to get back at the king and try and take the nation back, try and make some good. And the other side of the fight are the military soldiers. Now, both sides are infiltrated by the Baroque Works. So if anything goes awry, if anything goes away from Crocodile's plan, the Baroque Works can just shoot someone, and then everything goes back to chaos as normal. Now, there's two other sets of people, the main numbers of the Baroque Works, and the Straw Hats. I'm just gonna let you know, they fight The Straw Hats win. Not really that important, but like clips of the fight right there. Boom, there it is. Okay, I covered it. But the main fight that you're worried about is Luffy versus Crocodile. Now I ask you which one. They fight 3 times. The first fight is outside Rain Base. Luffy lasts exactly 3 minutes. Insert a joke if you will. And he's saved by Nico Robin. In that fight, Luffy learns that Crocodile is weak to water because the Crocodile hits Luffy's basically water ball, and he's like, oh my god, is that water? If you guys don't know, go to the beach sometime. Water hardens sand, makes it easier to pick up, you know? So then Luffy's like, oh shit, I can use this to my advantage. And in the second fight against Crocodile, Luffy has this giant thing of water on his back, and I think he actually says Gumu Gumu water gun, which is kind of funny. But he actually loses his fight too, and it's really hard to describe how he survives, so I'm just gonna put a clip here. Okay, and the third fight. Well, the third fight is in these ruins under the capital, where supposedly there are poneglyphs, which let's call them hieroglyphs, that only Nico Robin can read, and these poneglyphs supposedly lead to the location of Pluton. While down there, Nico Robin refuses to know Crocodile where Pluton is, and Crocodile ends up, attacking her. She almost dies. And I thought that was really cool to see how Nico's character turned around, how Robin's character turned around. But it takes Luffy a while, but he eventually gets down there. He fights Crocodile, and he's out of water, but what he uses instead is his blood. Because blood is a liquid, and it hardens sand, and it's really creative. I want to say that much. It's really creative. Luffy ends up barely winning this fight, and he is poisoned by Crocodile's coke, and Nico Robin ends up saving him. Again, now with the other Straw Hats, they beat 4-3, whatever numbers you want to say, they beat them, and they saved the city, they stopped the fighting. It's a long story, not gonna go into it, but yeah, everything turns out great. There's unity in Alabasta, Crocodile's defeated, the king's back, everything's back to normal. The arc ends, and the Straw Hats ask Vivi, hey, you can join our ship if you want, but you can also stay here, no hard feelings. And I thought that was really cool because Vivi's such an essential member of the ship for so long, and she ends up choosing to stay a princess, and I think that was a really good crossroads for her. She wanted to have fun, or if she wanted to do her duty to her people, and I thought that was really cool. Although it was a very sad moment to see them leave. And right after the Straw Hats leave, Nico Robin shows up on the ship. She becomes the newest member of the Straw Hats. Woo! But yeah, that's the end of the Alabasta saga. My thoughts on it, my favorite arc is probably Whiskey Peak. I'm a dumbass, I meant to say Drum Island. My favorite character is Chopper. Not because he's cute, but that is a factor, but because his backstory and the backstory of all the characters, and how I thought Wapol was useless, and I like the tragic backstories a lot. I like how Chopper's character is so complicated for such like an innocent character. I like Dalton a lot. I like Dalton's turnaround, how he tried to become a leader after helping the people suffer for so long under Wapol's reign. I really like that. And I'd have to say Zoro too. Not because like writing, because like Zoro doesn't necessarily have like good writing. He's just a badass. Like he's just an absolute badass, man. But yeah, that's my review on One Piece. I hope that was enough of a review and less of a summary. I tried to go through the story and give my inputs, but let me know how I did in the comments. I'll try and make this a little bit shorter because God knows there's gonna be a lot of cuts. And yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. The next few videos are probably gonna be gameplay videos. Before this video ends, I just want to say thank you to everyone, because I made a video on my TikTok about playing every One Piece eye catcher that I've seen so far, and the support in that was astounding. The video has almost 200,000 views at this point, and we hit 12K subscribers, almost followers, and that's amazing. That's just awesome, and I thank you all for that. And if you guys aren't from my TikTok, it's in my link tree along with my Discord and my Twitch. So nice to see you guys. Have a nice day. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you later, Sags. Peace out.